us with him through virtual skies.
To jets, he pilots them all. A captain of pixels, he answers their call. He loops, he banks, he dives with grace. The sky's his stage, his cockpit's the place.
Turbulence shakes, alarms might scream, but he's steady as a dream. Chat throws jokes, can you stick the land? He winks and says, I've got this plan. Oh, NMA3 Foxtrot, master of the air, gliding through the clouds like he's really there. Joystick in hand, engines on the rise, taking us with him through virtual skies. Sits in his cockpit lit by a screen, fly in the skies where he's never been. Twitch chat buzzing like a tower call, an 83 Fox, he's got it all. With his wings of code, his heart of flight, he's soaring high, chasing the night. Oh man, A3 Foxtrot, master of the air, gliding through the clouds like he's really there. Joystick in hand, engines on the rise, taking us with him through virtual skies.
To jets, he pilots them all. A captain of pixels, he answers their call. He loops, he banks, he dives with grace. The sky's his stage, his cockpit's the place.
Turbulence shakes, alarms might scream, but he's steady as a dream. Chat throws jokes, can you stick the land? He winks and says, I've got this plan. Oh, NMA3 Foxtrot, master of the air, gliding through the clouds like he's really there. Joystick in hand, engines on the rise, taking us with him through virtual skies. Sits in his cockpit lit by a screen, fly in the skies where he's never been. Twitch chat buzzing like a tower call, an 83 Fox, he's got it all. With his wings of code, his heart of flight, he's soaring high, chasing the night. Oh man, A3 Foxtrot, master of the air, gliding through the clouds like he's really there. Joystick in hand, engines on the rise, taking us with him through virtual skies.
Hello again, everyone. Good evening. Michael here with Felicity, November 8033 Fox, a Cessna flight training device that I built right here at home. It is Monday, the 8th of December, 2025. I hope you're all well and safe wherever you may be around the world. Before we get started, I want to give a quick thank you to Victor. Or is that Rodriguez Jr. came in with a channel follow yesterday while we were offline, so I greatly appreciate that. And then looks like a channel shout out by Nerd Droid 1 yesterday as well, so thank you for that as well. Plan for this evening is to continue with our West Coast to East Coast tour. This is going to be leg 8. And basically, the idea behind this is to fly from the furthest west commercial airport in the continental United States to the furthest east commercial airport in the continental United States. So that's what I've been doing when there isn't any other events or things like that going on that I need to participate in. So, that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at, we'll pull up ForeFlight here. When we ended leg 7, we ended, well, interesting. Give me just a second here. Well, why are you not showing devices? Yeah, it's not recognizing X-plane for some reason here. Give me just a second here. I'm trying to reconnect my X-plane to ForeFlight. For some reason, it didn't seem to show the proper location. Okay, there it is. We are connected now. Okay, let's try doing this, and then let's try. Yeah, okay. So that's not it. Alright, bear with me now. Where is my ForeFlight overlay? Okay, there it is there. So we should be able to do this. And there we go. Okay, so now I show us connected to X-plane 12, so that'll work. Okay. Must have just been a network issue with my iPad. I was on a different Wi-Fi network than my X-plane is. So, that being said, it does have us located here where we are. Hewlett Municipal Whiskey 43. W43 is the identifier. And I'm going to go ahead and quickly pull up our whole flight plan, the whole thing from start to finish. And this kind of covers where we've been and where we need to go and where we are. So if we take a look at this, I zoom out a little bit. One thing I want to do is remove this one. Remove from route. On leg 7 we did stop we overflew Gillette just to stay south of this military operations area to the north here. So we kind of flew south and then back north up to Hewlett. But I didn't want to leave that in the flight plan because that wasn't actually a stop. And then this way it lets me keep track of the total amount of legs, actual legs for our cross-country. Technically it is cross-country flight. So that being said, we are at Hewlett Municipal. That is Whiskey 43. It did snow since we landed and parked our plane here, so it is going to be kind of a bit more scenic flight today, I think, with the snow on the ground. So let's find our next stop here, and where. And where is our next leg gonna take us to? You're here. If we continue along, if we just basically follow this blue line, this is 49B, Sturgis Municipal. I see a star and a cross there. So that indicates to me that there is fuel available and there is a beacon there. I also see a glider, magenta glider, so there are gliders in the area. So technically that is special use airspace. But that could be a possibility to stop at along the way. What type of distance are we looking at there approximately? So that's about 54, 55 nautical miles. I think I want to fly a bit farther than that today. What is this next one down here? What do we got? Philip? Okay, there's also a beacon and fuel there. So that could also be a possibility. Let's see. If I take us down that way, that's about 130 miles, so that could work out. Kind of annoyed right now because surprisingly my front display just shut down. I don't know if it just timed out, but yeah. Let me see here. Fortunately, the stream is still going, so hopefully that's still working there. But let me see what's going on with my screen. Alright, and we're back. Yep, I couldn't tell you why that is. It's like my monitor just went to sleep and it just kind of stays there until I unplug and replug back in the display. So let me go ahead and fix this real quick. Okay, that works. So yeah, that one was about 130 miles. That might be a good one to do today. PHP. So let's see, W43. And then if we just kind of rubber band our route down here and select Philip, South Dakota. Could be a good one to fly to. This other one down here, what is this? Okay, that's Ellsworth Air Force Base. Another Delta down here, Rapid City Regional. Okay. So let's do this here. Just going to clear that out, and we're going to go from Whiskey 43 Airport in Hewlett, Wyoming. Then we're going to go to PHP. Okay, so that's 130 nautical miles. So that's one possibility. The other one, okay, 6V4. That has a beacon. It doesn't have fuel. So I'd rather not do that one. I don't want to stop at the Air Force Base unless absolutely necessary. So Rapid City Regional. That's only 75 nautical miles, though, and I think you want to get a bit longer leg in. So yeah, I think this fill up is gonna be a good one, because again, if we take a look at our overall route, it doesn't put us too far south. And it still has the amenities that we're going to want, like fuel. And it does have a rotating beacon to help identify the airport easier. Because we are in unfamiliar territory, and we are in the mountains. So I like that. I like that route. Let's plan that route. So to do that, let's go ahead and clear all of this out. Oh man, don't tell me that my video card is dying on me, because it just did it again. Whiskey 43. Whiskey 43. What was that? PHP. Alright, that's it there. Altitude. Let's say 5,500 feet. We'll go ahead and pack for this. Be a pity to think that my monitor's dying on me. I bet my monitor is dying on me. I was having this problem before where my primary display would just, it looked like it would go to sleep. It wouldn't turn off. I mean, the power LED would just stay there and kind of flash slowly, but the display would be off. And I'd have to unplug the display cable from the display itself and then replug it back in, and I would have my image back. So I thought my video card was going out, so I replaced it with one of my other newer video cards, thinking that would take care of the problem. Now it's starting to do it again. So now I'm wondering if it's actually my display that's going bad, which the display is older than, well, the current video card and also the one that I replaced it with. So maybe it is a bad display now. Something I'm going to have to think about, I guess. Okay. So here we are. This is going to be our tentative route for today. Whiskey 43 southeast of Phillip. PHP. I don't know anything about this. Oh. I want this Phillip. KPHP. I don't know anything really about this airport that we're going to, so we'll have to discuss a bit about that for a few moments once we pack some more information here. Okay, we're all packed for that. I'm going to set a departure time for now. Okay, at 5,500 feet. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to send this over to a flight. We'll head over to our flights page and go ahead and brief this. And it'll pull all of the weather and things like that that we're going to want to know, NOTAMs. Important information for our flight today. Icing icing in pretty much in this whole northwest quadrant here. We're kind of in the southeast, so there's something we are going to have to be vigilant about. Now, fortunately, our 172 does have anti-icing capabilities, not just de-icing, but we also have anti-icing. It's probably one of the only 172s that are FICI certified. So just keep that in mind when we experience some of these potential icing conditions. You won't normally find a FICI certified Cessna 172. I just worked a little magic in the X-Plane plane maker to allow for this to happen. Mostly because icing kind of fell me out of the sky before. And that wasn't something I enjoyed and enjoyed experiencing. So, we do have a FICI certified, quote-unquote, Cessna 172 that we're flying today. Low-level turbulence, air mets. It doesn't really going to affect us because even low level is still higher than, pretty almost higher than anything that we fly in our 172 anyway. Turbulence high, air mets, and there's one just to the west of our route. So we're going to skip over that. Low level wind shear, always something to be considerate about. There's an area there, sort of basically the latter half of our route might be affecting us. Surface analysis chart, there is kind of a low pressure, high pressure system, sort of in the area there. Some cloud coverage as well. Moving right along to the METARs, everything appears to be green currently. At our departure field, well, winds aren't even registering. That's good to know. 10-mile visibility, overcast at 8,500 feet. Okay, we're flying 5,500, so we got some room there, but our ceiling today will be 8,500 feet, AGL. Terminator 2997. Remarks Alpha 02. That all that fun stuff in those remarks. That Alpha 02 is basically telling me that the type of equipment used to get this METAR does have the capability to tell the difference between rain and snow. That's what that Alpha 02 means there at the end of those remarks. If we really wanted to kind of get nitty gritty on this, the SLP, if we want to go and look at some of those other numbers, SLP 152, that's sea level pressure in millibars, or I want to say it's millibars, or maybe it's kilopascals. But that's sea level pressure. And then the T0069er, 1039er, and I'm looking at the third VFR line down at the end there. That basically is a more accurate representation of temperature and dew point. Like, that's the actual raw information. And then they just sort of round it for brevity in the actual METAR there. So it's just some additional information after those remarks that, it is important to kind of, I know that sometimes a lot of that stuff is overlooked and brushed off, but it's important to kind of have a general idea and understanding of what some of those numbers actually mean there. Because, believe it or not, that's actually a check ride question. Okay, so next we're going to take a look at the PIREPs. These are pilot reports I'm going to kind of skip over these. These are real-world reports that probably aren't going to really affect us today on VATSIM. Sort of a cloud coverage map. We do have clouds in the area. Again, it's overcast at 8,500 feet today. Visibility, surface winds, and precipitation chart. I'm going to skip over this one. Terminal area forecast. It's mostly green. There is one potential marginal VFR. Oh boy, look at that. Am I reading that right? Marginal VFR at Romeo Charlie Alpha KRCA. Becoming, let's see, 0920, 0921. Winds 320 at 30, gusting 55 knots. Overcast 3,000 feet. So that could, man, hopefully we don't even get nothing even remotely close to that. We're flying backwards. Then everything else there is VFR. But still, man, there's some 45 knot gusts at Romeo Alpha Papa. Hopefully we don't have to deal with any of that. Wind chart. Wow. Okay. So taking a look at this wind chart, the wind actually starts at the top of the flag where all of these well, it basically starts at the top of the flag and it makes its way towards the big black dot at the bottom of the flagpole. So in this illustration or reference, the wind is actually coming out of the northwest. So we will have a significant tailwind from what I can tell. Each long bar here represents about 10 knots, and then each short one is 5. So we can see right here at our departure, W43, looks like winds are close to 25 knots, 3,000 AGL there. So yeah, we're going to have a significant tailwind today. Vertical cross-section chart. Okay, taking a look here. This blue line theoretically is our flight path, including climb, cruise, and descent. What I do see here at the first half of my flight is that my cruise altitude at 5,500 is actually below the elevation and altitude that's in the area. So upon departure, we may actually have to climb higher than 5,500 feet. But look what happens when we get up higher. You see those blue smiley faces? It's really nothing to smile about. That's a symbol for icing. You know, so if we get up to 7,500 feet, you know, we're looking at the possibility of airframe icing. Of course, that possibility could be at any point in time and anywhere. So, we may have to kind of just do our best to keep above everything, but not get too high, but still be VFR legal. Let's move right along to winds aloft table, and here we see here winds aloft 5,500 feet, 23 to 36 knots, depending on location. So, I got some good tailwind there. I'm glad we're going east and not west. We would significantly lose a lot of time and get nowhere real quick if that were the case. Departure NOTAMs, nothing to be concerned about there. En route, I'm going to skip over a lot of these en route real world NOTAMs that don't affect us. ARTCC NOTAMs, this is where I would check for any known ATC delays as I'm going through my new craft checklist. New craft is your NOTAMs, and then again, weather, known ATC delays, runway lengths, alternate airports, fuel, and takeoff and landing performance. Man, I almost couldn't remember the A for a moment there. See, that's our new craft checklist, and again, known ATC delays. This is where I would find a lot of those under the ARTCC NOTAMs. All right, let's head back there. I might be a bit sketch, but we're gonna give the flight a go. With knowing that there is a possibility for airframe icing, and knowing that we do have an 8,500-foot overcast ceiling. So yeah, it might be interesting. But we've got some snow on the ground. It should be a pretty flight. We're going to try and take Shirley with us. Shirley has been acting erratically for me for our last flight. So hopefully our AI co-pilot is working a bit better today. And then we'll also be on the VATSIM network. I don't know about any sort of overlying ATC. But again, we will be flying on the VATSIM network for leg 8. Pre-flight and walk around is already done. The plane is fully fueled. So all of that said, I think that we are ready to head to the aircraft. All right, I'll see you there in just a moment. Thanks for coming in and hanging out.
Is up. Mic check when ready.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome aboard, Felicity. My name's Michael. Be your pilot today. As we fly out of Hewlett Municipal to Phillip, Wyoming. For this West Coast to East Coast tour, I have been logging an actual logbook, so I'm gonna fill out, logbook. Well, not a book. It's a paper, but it's in a logbook format. Man, listen to that stall horn. Do you hear that stall horn? It's windy. I can tell you right now, it's windy. And then we're gonna have a little bit of fun, I think. Alright, today is the 8th, December 8th. 12/8. Cessna 172F and 8033F. Whiskey 43. We're heading to PHP. KBGR. Alright. We'll fill the rest of that out once we get there. Tech time. We're gonna need 113.0 and hubs 118.7. Okay, got all the beginning stuff. We'll get the end stuff when we get to the end. I wonder if our AI co-pilot is here with us. Shirley, you here? Say hello.
Shirley back in a Cessna and 2 standing by.
Alright, Shirley. Glad to have you here.
Glad to be here.
Okay. Alright, exterior walk around is already done. Both wings are fully fueled. Got about 36 gallons of usable. Tech time, Hobbs time, we got. Circuit breaker. Circuit breakers are all in. Alternate static air is in. Alright, we will move right along to our startup checklist. Seat track. Let's get scooted up here so that we can reach the flight controls. More importantly, make sure we can hold the brakes. Okay. Brakes. Alright. It's good there. Avionics are off. Autopilot's off. Carpet is off. Make sure going forward. Throttle slight. Let's get 3 in the primer here. Slowly pull it out. Slowly push it, and there's 1. Okay. Pull it out slowly. Push it in. There's 2. If you prime too fast, you can aerate your fuel. So pull that prime out slowly, let that fuel bowl fill up, and then slowly push the fuel in. And when it's cold, yeah, you'll know it's cool because it's going to pretty much take everything you have just to pull that primer out. Just go slow. Don't force it. Don't ram it. Just go slow. Okay, primer is in and locked. Brakes are going to go on. Clear prop. It looks like we're clear on the left. Clear right. Clear front. Okay, master's going to go on. Beacon's going to go on. And right away I'm looking for oil pressure and RPM. If I don't have either, I'll be shutting down because there's a problem. So here we go. Max 2 start. Okay, and we do have engine RPM and oil pressure is in the green. So that checks out. I'm going to turn our landing light on so that we can be seen. And that completes our startup checklist. Would you agree, Shirley?
Roger.
Alright. Moving right along to our pre-taxi checklist. Seatbelts. Let's get my seatbelt on here. Oh man, it is snowing. It might be snowing. Okay, seatbelt, flaps are up. Okay, avionics going on. Okay. Team Busy Bee, hello. Welcome. Okay, how are we doing here? Where are we at? Okay, did that. Okay, avionics are on. Oh, that's what I was doing.
TOS system test okay.
Well, I appreciate that. I'll take that as a compliment. And I'll be honest, this is a 12-year project, so it's taken me a while to get here. I've rebuilt the thing about 4 times now. But I appreciate the kind words. Welcome on in. I like how you phrased that question because everyone asked me how much it cost. And that's hard to put a number on after so many years in buying and selling things. So I do appreciate how you phrased your question there. And because I appreciate it so much, I will go ahead and answer your question. If I had to reproduce this thing, knowing what I know now, and using the exact parts, like if I had to build a replica, a duplicate, including the computers and displays, all hardware, like everything needed, probably about $18,000. But that's turnkey. That's everything. Okay, you're welcome. That's something I answered, I talked about a lot. Okay, how are we doing here? For some reason that transponder is not working. Let me check something. I'm not even going to worry about it right now. We don't really need that one. It's tied into our 650. But I do want to go check one thing real quick, just to make sure that it's actually being recognized. It uses a plug-in, and so I gotta go see if it's being recognized by the plug-in on the master machine. Alright, so yeah, not being recognized by the plugin, which means Windows probably isn't recognizing, which means I might have a hub that's going bad because I had some issues with my angle of attack indicator the other day. So one of my powered USB hubs might be going bad. But that's alright, we do have transponder functionality, so that's good there. Altimeter, say ATIS. ATIS. I don't know if we have an ATIS at Hewlett. Do we have an ATIS at Hewlett? 128775.
Automated weather observation. Hello municipal. Wind 300 degrees 11 knots. Visibility more than 10 miles. Sky conditions broken at 3,200. Scattered at 8,800. Temperature 3. Dew point -3. Altimeter 2988. Automated weather observation. Hello municipal. Wind 300 degrees 11 knots. Visibility more than 10 miles. Sky conditions broken at 3,200. Scattered at 8,700. Temperature 3. Dew point -3. Altimeter 2987.
Alright, 2987. Puts us field elevation just, what is that, 41 something feet? 4264. 9987. Winds were 300 at 11. And runway here 1331, so we'll be taking 31. That'll be nice. It'll set us up for sort of actually we'll just sort of make a downwind downwind departure, for lack of a better word. You know, they say you're supposed to either depart straight out or straight out and 45 degrees to the left. For this instance, I see no harm in flying into the pattern altitude, flying the downwind of the pattern and departing the pattern after the downwind, and continuing our way east. I think that'll be just fine to do. Okay, what's next here? We got our altimeter set, that's good there. Transponder's good. ADS-B is tied into our 650 radio. Okay, transmit lights coming on, so I assume it's going to be working. Brakes we'll test on the roll, as well as our attitude indicator and turn coordinator, but we do need to set our heading indicator to compass, and that looks good there. Alright. Albuquerque Center and Salt Lake City Center are online on VATSIM, but I don't think either one of those are going to benefit us currently. I think we're more in like Minneapolis Center area. Well, South, hello, welcome in, my friend. I'm doing well. How are you? Park and brake off. Alright, let's do a quick brake test. Quick power. Brakes, okay. That's good there. So runway 31. And 122.8. Hewlett Municipal Traffic, Skyhawk 8033 Foxtrot. We're at the North GA ramp. Going to taxi to runway 31 for departure at Hewlett. Are you saying that you're planning an east to west coast VFR route as well? I'm actually flying an east to west coast VFR tour myself, but I'm just kind of planning as I go. Nice. Yeah, that's what I'm doing in process of myself. I'm actually on leg 8 right now. Yeah, if you want to shoot it to me in the Discord or something, the Flying Club Discord, that's fine. That's cool. I'll take a look at it. or shoot it to me in a private message. I'd be curious to see how your route works out, or starts out. Alright. Give me justice. This is a long runway. We might just take this intersection here. But before we go, I'm going to take a short break and leave the engine running. Shirley's gonna have the brakes for us. Shirley, hold the aircraft.
Roger.
Alright, I'll be right back. Alright, sorry about that, everyone. We're just gonna take this intersection here. We don't need this whole runway. We're just gonna take this intersection. Alpha 4. Let's do a quick run up. Run up checklist. Brakes are on, fuel. That's both. Trim set for takeoff. Flight control to run a box pattern. Okay, down left, that feels good there. Okay, brakes are on, mixture's in, primer's in and locked. Alright, hold brakes maximum, 1600 RPM. Left mag, there's a drop, let's get back to both. Right mag, there's a drop. Back to both. Let's get the carb heat on, there's a drop. Let's pull the power all the way out, make sure we can stay running. Okay, looks good there. Put power back into 1500. We'll pull that carb heat back off. That'll just bump us back up to about 1600 or so. Suction is in the green, oil pressure's in the green, oil temperature's in the green. We are charging, we've got good fuel flow. Manifold pressure is 1600, RPM is 1550 right now. Nothing on the annunciator panel. So we are good to go. Let's go ahead and idle back. Let's turn our strobe lights on. We're on CTAF. Alright, mic 1 ready to go. Okay. Alright, I think we are ready to go. Hey Shirley, are you ready to go? Are you ready to go, Shirley?
Approaching runway 31.
These are A20s. Hewlett traffic, Skyhawk 8033 Foxtrot is taking runway 31 at Alpha 4, left downwind departure to the east, Hewlett. We got birds in the air.
Entered runway 31. 5,200 feet remaining.
FYI. Let's keep an eye out. Let's grab that center line. Full power. Rudder for center. Everything's in the green. Airspeed's up. Alright, let's rotate. Positive rate. Let's climb out at 80. Wow, I'm getting pushed. He's definitely got winds coming from that northwest. Alright, slipped our left wing, that looks clear. As we make this left-hand turn, if you keep an eye on the horizon, you will see Devil's Tower coming on up here. I will point and call it out when it's about at our 12 o'clock. Alright, it's coming up to our 12 o'clock. It's getting ready to cross over the angle of attack indicator and compass now. That is Devil's Tower here in Wyoming. Hewlett traffic, November 33 Foxtrot, left crosswind, 3-1 Hewlett. Hewlett traffic, November 33 Foxtrot, left downwind, 3-1 Hewlett. Alright, let's go ahead and climb up. Well, no, we're still airport environment. Let's get out of pattern environment here. Now That way we can make sure, keep a visual on any of the traffic that might be entering the pattern. We want to be able to see them. Despite the fact that we are in a high wing, we can look down. But if we were in a low wing, we wouldn't necessarily be able to do that. Hewlett traffic, Skyhawk Director Foxtrot is departing the pattern off of the downwind leg to the east, Hewlett. Alright, now let's climb 5,500 feet. Let's take a look to see what the clouds and terrain look like. And we don't want to get sucked up into a cloud. But we definitely have some precipitation coming down on us. Be making a ground speed of 115 knots right now, and we are indicating about 90. Alright, 5,500, let's level up here. Where are we going to? PHP. Philip. Activate. 097-ish. Ground speed 125 knots, indicating 100. It is overcast though. It is killing a lot of the sunlight, so it's kind of darker now. Like it's early enough in the day. But without
Terrain ahead. Terrain ahead.
I know.
Terrain ahead. Pull up. Terrain ahead. Terrain ahead.
But without overcast, it really kind of makes it a dark scene. Oh, she must have been worried about that little hill. I don't want to go too high because that'll put us right up in that cloud layer. Iron Man 210 coming in with the channel follow. Welcome aboard, Felicity. My name is Michael. Welcome aboard. Hope you enjoy. We are on our way to some class golf airport. Philip, Kilo, Papa, Hotel Papa. Man, I'm glad I climbed up to 6,000. We would have had ground contact. Okay, we are heading eastbound. VFR. I mean, realistically, ideally, I'd like to be 7,500 feet. That's not going to work out. We'll be sucked in up there. General question about the 3 monitors, TVs that pick up the game like that. More or less, it's in the display settings. Well, so I run 2 computers and 2 copies. So one copy runs this display, and the other copy runs these 2 side displays, and it runs together over a network. What simulator are you trying to set it up on? Which one? 2024, yeah. So unfortunately there hasn't been much improvement with that over 2020. Are all 3 of your displays the same size? Or are they different sizes? It's a lot easier when they're all the same size, because then everything looks the same size. It's when MSFS has problems when they're different sizes. And the only reason is because there's no separate zoom or independent zoom for each display. You know, so if you had like one display that was like a 50-inch TV and you had another one that was like 32 inches, in order to make everything appear the same size, you know, you would either need to zoom out on the big one or zoom in on the small one to get everything to appear the same size, and that's very important when running multiple monitor setups, because you know, if you've got a nice sight picture and a nice visual and everything looks good out your side window here, but it's 32 inches at, let's just say, zoom setting 100, and then you go to make your left hand base, okay, and then now all of a sudden what looked good out of your left or right window on a nice downwind almost makes you think that you've overshot final approach, because you're now so large on your 50-inch display at the same zoom level. Okay, that's just because it's physically larger, and because you can't adjust that in MSFS 20 in 2024 yet. I do hope that's something that they'd work on. But because you can't, it's really difficult to make everything look asymmetrical and aesthetically pleasing. So you almost have to have identical displays to make it look good in Flight Simulator. X-Plane's a bit different, because then you have so much more configuration. You can zoom, make everything appear the same size, and you know, move the horizon up and down. You have so much more adaptation in X-Plane. Alright, I think if we stay at 6,000 feet, we'll still be good VFR legal, because that still keeps us below 3,000 feet AGL, but that keeps us out of this nasty gray cloud layer that's sort of in front of and on top of us. We have just this little sliver of, you know, what a nice, you know, light clouds. You know, I can see the sky, and directly above us, we're just socked in. So, if I can keep it at 6,000 feet, great. Ground speed 130, and again indicating 105. Man, we are just cooking along. I wonder what's exciting in this area. Go ahead and tell me about anything notable, Shirley.
Not much out here. Mostly open terrain and scattered small towns. We're tracking east nicely, though, making good time with this tailwind.
Man, that just looks yucky. That just... I wouldn't want to be up in them right now. But that's the down thing about overcast. You get overcast skies, it blocks a lot of the sunlight. It just kind of makes some of the terrain kind of bland and kind of dull and flat because it's not being lit up by the sun. Once we get past all this, I'll show you the difference. Maybe about 10 more miles or so to be clear of this overcast layer. Oh, thanks. We got that one, and then this one here, which is sort of the polar opposite of what you just saw. And then this one here is this is basically what the front display is seeing. So this is in-game. This isn't like live. This is like, I mean, this is the game display. And then, yeah, kind of give them all. Jerome 3919, welcome aboard Felicity. Thank you for the channel follow, greatly appreciated. We are cruising along at 6,000 feet MSL in Wyoming, departed out of Hewlett Municipal, Wyoming, and we are heading to some place I've never been, some class golf I've never even heard of, called Philip Kilo Papa Hotel Papa, also in Wyoming. Correction, Philip is in South Dakota. Okay, Jerome, duly noted. You know, I don't like to shorten names on a first meet, though. But yeah, thanks for the channel follow, Jerome. So yeah, we're on leg 8 of my West Coast to East Coast tour in a 172. Wow, that's a large mountain. You guys might not be able to make it out just yet, but it's like right there. I wonder if I can identify that one on the chart here. I mean, that's almost unmistakable. That's gotta be... I'm 6,000 feet, so that's gotta be every bit of 8,000. No, not seeing anything identifiable. This is part of this Bear Butt National Refuge. Alright, well, we'll just make sure to not hit that mountain. But it is almost like right in our path, right in our way. Alright, so we're going to fly past that mountain to the north. We're going to stay north of it. At least that's my plan. We'll keep it off of our right side. Just lean us out a little bit here. My car is broke. Welcome aboard. Thanks for the channel follow-up. My name is Michael. Welcome aboard Felicity. We are en route to Phillip, South Dakota in a 172 full flight simulator. Looks like in about 12 miles we will be overflying Bear Butt Lake. Part of Bear Butt National Wildlife Refuge. Do you have any information on that, Shirley?
Not much detail on it. It's a wildlife refuge area with a lake. Terrain's rising a bit through here, so we're keeping a good eye on those peaks.
Alright. See, that must be Bear Butt. Butte, B-U-T-T-E. How would you pronounce that? Here, I'll even show you. I'll show you exactly what it says. Is it Butte, B-U-T-T-E, or is it Butt, B-U-T-T-E? I don't know. But that must be what this really tall structure is that I see in front of us. Interestingly, now I appear to be higher than it, and back there I thought I was way lower than it. What's that? perspective and illusion effects that can happen. Alright, so yeah, it looks like we actually can directly overfly this at this altitude. But you can see now that we're out of the cloud cover, out of that overcast layer, and it's looking out the right window, how much more vivid the colors seem to be. Ground speed right now, 125 knots, indicating 95 knots. Still getting a really good push from the tailwinds there. Alright, let's double check our heading indicator to compass, because we know it likes to drift on us. Should be able to see the top of that Bear Butte coming up just past our glare shield, right over there. Alright, there it is. You all remember turns around a point, don't you? You know, when you got a faster ground speed, the wind's behind you. You want to put in a steeper bank angle, and when wind's in front of you, you want a shallower bank angle. Well, kind of an interesting thing, that Bear Butte, like a little mountain. I don't want to say a little mountain, it might be an oxymoron. a pretty neat thing to check out. There's Bear Butte Lake, which we just passed. Just steep turn, hang on. Alright, and then this body of water here is Bear Butte Lake. This one that's just outside of our right window here. There it is again, Bear Butte. Okay, back on course. Another steep turn, here we go. Realistically, probably should have done some clearing turns. We're gonna do some steep turns like that. But I didn't see anything on ADSB. We got 49 Bravo down here. Another local airport. And looks like it is modeled in X-plane. But that is not our destination. That was a potential destination, but that was too close for the leg I wanted to fly this evening. Wanted to get at least 100 nautical miles in, and this leg's about 130. There's a bit of a weather change. Alright, so we got about 78 miles until we get to our destination. That's provided that we maintain a straight line and everything goes according to plan. And at this ground speed, it's estimating about 35 minutes until wheels down. Since we're in no man's land, let's go ahead and monitor guard on 121.5. In fact, go ahead and tune 121.5 on standby on COM 2, Shirley.
Done.
No, Shirley, it's not done. I'm still showing 121 point. Okay, there it is. Now it's done. Alright. And Shirley, go ahead and swap frequencies on Comp 2 for me.
Done.
Alright, good job. Boo List 38, welcome aboard Felicity. Thank you for the channel follow. My name is Michael. We're en route to Phillip, North Dakota, some little class golf airport that I've never been to before, but it is along the way on our west coast and east coast tour. So thanks for coming in, dropping by, and for the channel follow. Alright, I'm gonna let the navigator fly us for a little bit. Set an altitude hold. Alright, let's go ahead and brief our destination airport. Destination airport is Phillip, South Dakota, Kilo Papa Hotel Papa. The field elevation at our destination is 2,209 feet. Pattern altitude is 3,209 feet. Fuel is available. It has GPS, VOR, and RNAV approach procedures. The ASOS frequency is 118.375, CTAF 122.8. It does give us one asphalt and one grass runway. The asphalt runway is longer at 3,988 feet by 75, but the grass runway is wider but shorter, 3,588 by 120. Weather right now at Phillip. Winds are out of the west, 240 at 6. Visibility is 10. Scattered 10,000, broken 12,000. Temperature 4, dew point -2, altimeter 2,992. So we got standard pressure there. Density altitude is 1,502 feet. So it must be a little bit chilly there as well. And no airport NOTAMs to be concerned about right now. So that should be good. I think runway 30 will be our landing runway. Based on our arrival, that'll set us up for a nice 45-degree into the downwind, and runway 30 is also favoring the weather as well, with winds at 240. I mean, technically runway 23 would be better if we wanted to land in the grass. I don't know the condition of that turf right now, and I really don't want to take a chance of it being too wet or extremely wet. And I don't know. I didn't call ahead to find out and ask about the turf conditions. So we're just going to land the asphalt once we get there, in about 64 miles or so. Let's turn our nav lights on. Let's just turn our taxi light on also, just for some increased visibility out there. It's a little bit dark. It's starting to get a little bit cold. Okay, let's turn that cabin heat, pull that cabin heat on just a little bit. Okay. Alright, a little bit of situational awareness, oil temperatures in the green, oil pressure looks good, suction's in the green, we are charging. Got good fuel flow. AGT, it's good here. Ground speed right now is 138 knots. We're indicating 105. Double check heading indicator to compass. Okay. Should we brief an instrument procedure just in case? Just in case we get socked in? Let's go ahead and do that just in case. Okay, let's see here. Airport, fill up, procedure, approach. Alright, RNAV 30. Okay, let's do this. Alright, that's bigger, that looks a little bit better. If for some reason we're unable to go visual and we do need to fly an approach, it looks like there is an RNAV approach enter at runway 30, which is our preferred due to wind. So while the autopilot navigator does have the plane for us, let's go ahead and brief for this approach right now. Weather-wise, let's take a look here. 2-mile visibility and clouds at 2794. Decision altitude 2794. Okay. See, this is the RNAV GPS runway 30 into Phillip. It is a WAS approach. The final approach course is 301. Touchdown elevation is 2206 feet. Field elevation is 2209. Denver Center would be the approach controller we would be talking to. CTAP is 122.8. It looks like it is an out and back approach. Arrival, let's see, the initial approach fix and intermediate fix of UTMI, UTMIY. It looks like no procedure turn required if arriving on 031 to 211 radial, but I don't think that's going to be us. Let's just send this over to the map. Yeah, so that won't be us. We will be arriving on 031 around the 211 on the west. So in that instance, we will need to fly that procedure turn. So in this case, once we cross UTMI at or above 4,500 feet, we'll be flying outbound. But once we cross it, we will make a left standard rate turn, 45 degrees to the left. Fly outbound for 1 minute, and then we'll make a standard rate turn to fly a 121 heading, and we're going to fly that for 1 minute, and then a standard rate turn back around to 301 degrees to cross back over UTMI at or above 4,500 feet. From then we are stepping down to 3,800 feet until we get to Hubby. That is the final approach fixed. And from there we have 4.9 nautical miles until the missed approach point, and then on the missed approach climb to 4,500 direct to Cust and hold. So pretty simple approach, pretty simple missed approach. So let's just close this for now, but if we do need to shoot an approach, we'll go ahead and do that one because we did already brief that one, and that is the best one for the winds there today. So yeah, onward. I hope you all are having fun. I want to thank you all for coming in and hanging out, and if you just joined the channel with the channel followers, again I want to thank you for that, and as always, if you've come back to fly again, I greatly appreciate you as well. These are actually LED neon tubes that I sourced from Amazon. They're RGB, so they do all sorts of different colors and things. You know, get the rainbow effect, you know, in here if we want. So yeah, it's like a remote control. Right. What are we doing? About 40 miles away. Do we have a weather reporting station 118.375. We'll get that on standby. 118.375. Alright, so that's on standby. Again, field elevation 2209, longest runway 4000.122.8, which is what we're on. Welcome in, Melvin. I hope you are well, my friend. This, you know, this could very well be some Christmas themed lighting. You know, we can even go one step further and we can go all out with the Christmas colors. Or we can go the other way. Tis the season. In fact, I like this. I like this ambiance right now. This'll work. Yeah, I need to get my tree up here soon. I need to figure out what star I want to put on top of my tree too. I put a different star on top of the tree every year. Last year it was the Scarlet 3 arrival into KCMH. This year I need to figure out a different star to print out and put up there. Yeah, this overcast, it just really kind of makes it kind of gloomy.
Roger that. Still making good progress, though. About 40 miles out.
Yep, about 40 miles out. That is right, Shirley.
Roger?
And what else can you tell me about this area, Shirley? Is there anything exciting? Is there anything exciting in this area, Shirley? Probably not. Wait, 9:34. So 9:34 is when she stopped responding to me, apparently. Isn't that right, Shirley?
Not much out here. Mostly open rangeland and small communities. Pretty quiet country.
Yeah, so you're still a little bit glitchy even after your update. Timestamp 21:35, and we'll make a note of that. And go over the transcript and make sure that you heard everything properly. Okay, 29.7 nautical miles away. We will make our first CTAP traffic call. We're about 10 nautical miles out. And then another one about 5, and then of course as we get closer. I don't expect there to be anybody out here. I really, really don't. I haven't seen anybody. Nobody. It's been very quiet out this way. Alright, let's take the plane back. Give me back my plane. Disable autopilot. Confirm positive control. Alright, yeah, we got positive control. Yep. And then you'll be able to tell by the flight track when we went from good flying to crappy flying. She's so much better of a pilot than I am. Like, if you were to go side by side a flight track between 10 miles of my straight and level flight and 10 miles of the autopilot straight and level flight, I can guarantee you who's going to have a much straighter line. I can tell you it's not going to be me. Okay. Alright, let's just pick a point out there on the horizon and fly towards it for now. That should keep us pretty straight. There's really not much that I can see on the horizon. There's a cloud that I'm trying to kind of keep the nose on. Very, very faint, but I see it. Melvin, we just departed Hewlett, Wyoming. Hewlett Municipal in Wyoming. And we're making about 130 nautical mile trek to the east. And we're gonna end up in Phillip, South Dakota. Kilo Papa Hotel Papa. So it's somewhat close to your neck of the woods, but definitely not unfamiliar to the Bush League, that's for sure.
Roger.
We're just north of Mount Rushmore and Crazy Horse National Monument, the Northern Black Hills. That's cool.
Destination ASOS is 118.375.
2993.
Hey, we can hear it, and we're still 20 miles away.
Automated weather observation, Phillip. Wind 230 degrees 5 knots. Visibility more than 10 miles. No significant cloud. Temperature 5. Dew point -3. Altimeter 2993.
993.
Automated weather observation, Phillip. Wind 230 degrees 5 knots. Visibility more than 10 miles. No significant cloud. Temperature 5. Dew point -3. Altimeter 2993.
Yeah, I know that, I know when I departed out of Hewlett, we were close to Devil's Tower, and I think Rushmore would have been southeast at that point. So I think for me currently, Rushmore might be southwest or more west. Pheasant hunting, you're close to the Badlands. Cool. Excuse me. How am I going tonight, or how am I doing tonight? I'm doing alright this evening. Enjoying a nice VFR flight. Okay, so yeah, this will work out great. So yeah, oh, sorry, how far? How far am I going tonight? So yeah, Phillip's going to be our last stop. That's be about 130 nautical miles we flew this evening. So yeah, we're about 14 nautical miles away. And we'll shut her down and we'll pick back up here for the next leg. I like to stop at airports that have a beacon, especially when it's close to evening, and airports that have fuel availability. Granted, I could probably still fly for another couple hours. I do like to take off with full fuel from each leg, just in case. Yeah, I just see there's just some sunlight poking through, you know, over off to our right there, a little break in the clouds. And I can see some sunlight poking through past this layer here. But I think our airport will still be under this overcast layer. We're just about 12 miles away. Like I said, we'll make a traffic call at 10 and another one at 5. Then, of course, as we get closer and more appropriately. But let's keep an eye out for the airport beacon. It's going to be off of our nose somewhere. There's actually a VOR right there. Phillip VOR 115.55. We'll be flying right by it. We might actually be able to see this VOR. Or maybe this is a Vortac actually. VOR DME. Alright, field elevation 3200, or 2200, patterns 3200. We're 5300 now. Let's make a traffic call. Phillip traffic, Skyhawk 8033 Foxtrot. About 8 miles to the east. Going to be joining the 45 to grab the left downwind. Runway 30, full stop, Phillip. Yeah, so let's do that. Let's go down and check out this VOR. do a circle around that thing, and then that'll launch us right into the 45 for the runway. So we'll do some low-level operations and get down there real close. Curb heat's gonna come on, mixture's gonna go rich, power's gonna come back for our descent. Let's trim for this. Oh yeah, this VOR should be modeled and represented in here. Philip traffic, Skyhawk 8033 Foxtrot, now 5 miles west. We're going to be joining the 45, go to left downwind, runway 30, full stop, Philip. It's around here somewhere, it's gotta be. Right, there's the airport. Alright guys, hang on, we're gonna get a little bit crazy here. Looking for this VOR DME. There, is that it? There's a house. Okay, there it is. There's the VOR, but there's a house on top of it. Okay, full power, carpet off for now. Let's recover our aircraft, clean up a little bit. Alright. Let's get up to pattern altitude. $3,200. Philip traffic, Skyhawk 8033 Foxtrot is on the 45 for the left downwind 30 full stop, Philip. Philip traffic, November 33 Foxtrot, midfield left downwind 30 full stop, Philip. Alright, I beam the numbers. Okay, power back. 1600, carpet on, it's showtime. Time to land. Okay, landing lights on. Fuels on both gears, fixed and welded. Mixture is rich. Power and prop looks good. Well, prop's fixed, but 10 degrees flaps. 80 knots or 80 miles per hour. Got a left base. Fill up traffic. November 33 Foxtrot. Turning left base. 30 full stop. Fill up. Looks good. Flaps 2. Okay, final approach is clear. Our backwards base is clear. The runway looks clear. Alright, we're clear to land. Lift our left wing. That looks clear. Let's roll final approach. Fill up traffic. Skyhawk 33 Foxtrot. Final approach 30. Full stop. Fill up.
$500.
500.
Short final runway 30.
Yeah, gotta keep that crab in there. What's that windsock looking like? About half. It's about 8. Left wing. Flaps are gonna go up. It's high-speed taxi down here. Carpet off.
Approaching runway 05, 23. Entered runway 05, 23.
And we'll exit right here. On Alpha. Phillip, South Dakota. Looks warm and cozy. Okay. Let's run through our list here. Did the landing part after landing. Flaps up. Carpet off. Strobes off, landing light off. Okay. Alright, trim. Let's get trim back to takeoff. Okay. Transponder, VFR. ELT is silent. Okay. Avionics going off. Mixture lean. Mags. Master. Beacon. Park and brake on. Alright. That was a good flight. Is there anything you want to debrief on this flight, Shirley? Oh, that's right. She's not talking to me no more. Okay, let's get our times. Tech time, it's 114.5. And then hubs 120.2. Okay, so 118.7 to 120.2. So 19.7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so 1.5. Alright, so we got 1.5 on that one there. So PHP, total duration of flight 1.5. Airplane single engine land, that's us, 1.5. Single engine land at sea, nope. Rotorcraft, nope. Nighttime, nope, no night time. Cross country, yes, we were in excess of 50 miles in a straight line. 1.5. Pilot in command, yes, 1.5. Okay. Alright, so we got an hour and a half on that one. Alright, let's head back to the hangar and debrief and chit-chat for a couple minutes. I'll give out some thank yous, and then we will say goodnight. Alright, I'll see you there in a minute. Alright, hello again everyone, and thank you for coming along on our leg 8 of our West Coast to East Coast tour today. Let's go over this real quick. We departed out of Hewlett Municipal, Whiskey 43. And remember when we took off, I pointed out Devil's Tower. That was just off to our west here. And then, let's see. I know that Rushmore's around here somewhere. But that's all right. We departed. We stayed under the cloud cover. We were probably just 500 feet below that overcast layer, and flew east and checked out Bear Butte. That was that thing sticking up from the ground that I thought was. And that's the weird thing about a perspective and illusion. We were pretty far away from it, and at my altitude, it looked like we were way below the peak. We're kind of right here, and it looked like the peak was up here. But as I got closer and closer and closer, it almost kind of did this number to where my altitude didn't change, but as I got closer, we ended up being several hundred, over 1,000 feet above the peak. So that those illusions can be a bit deceiving at times. We kind of did a circle around Bear Butte, and then did another kind of turn to kind of get a look at the Bear Butte Lake there. And then continued along past Sturgis Municipal, which was going to be my tentative stop, but it wasn't very far from our departure, and I wanted to have a longer leg than that. So then we just continued along, and then at this point, you can even tell the distinct difference. Is when I turned on autopilot, and you know it's autopilot because the line is straight as an arrow. Okay. And then of course when I start hand flying again, is when it starts to get a little bit, less straight. Here was our turnaround point around the Philip VOR DME. And then we came in, which kind of set us up on the 45 for the downwind. Yeah, it set us up for the downwind. If we didn't do that turnaround to point there, we would have been on a nice 45 to join that downwind. But either way, it was a nice downwind and base and final to full stop at Philip Municipal. So that is leg 8 there. But while we're here, I want to kind of get an idea as to where we're going to be going for leg 9. So let's go ahead and put this in. Let's see. Let's clear that. And then let's recall the full flight. Okay. Then we'll add this Philip to that route, and then we're going to resave this. Okay. Save. Yes. We're going to reuse it. And then I'm going to go in here. And I'm going to delete the old one and just use the new one. Okay. So we're here at Philip. Let's get a rough idea as to what the next leg is going to be as we make our way along, and we can kind of zoom out here. This is the route that I'm tentative, that I want to fly. We'll have to stay south of the Great Lakes, so it's not going to be a direct line. But we're making our way there. We're almost halfway, I think. Departed out of Seattle. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 legs in. This Chamberlain Municipal 9 Victor 9. There's a magenta star and a crosser, so that does tell us. Great, Melvin. I'll take a look at that. So that tells us that there is fuel available there, as well as a beacon. And so that distance is approximately 90, about 100 miles or so, give or take. So that could be a good leg 9. Because our next field would be, that would make sense, would be Mitchell Municipal, which would be closer to 155, which is doable. I'd have to do that on like a weekend or something. That's going to be a bit longer than a 2-hour, 2.5-hour stream with that type of mileage. But, we could break that up and do, here to Chamberlain as, for leg 9. And then from Chamberlain to FSD, Sioux Falls, could be leg 10, which is about 112 miles. So that's not terrible. All right, Melvin. Enjoy, my friend. Thank you so much for coming in. We will see you next time, buddy. take care out there. Yeah, so let's tentatively plan on Chamberlain Municipal 9 Victor 9 for leg 9 whenever that is going to occur. Won't be able to happen possibly Friday, maybe over the weekend. We'll be able to get that in. So, all of that being said, I do want to say thank you all for coming in and hanging out. And again, real quick, I want to give a quick thank you again to Iron Man 210, Jerome, My Car is Broke, and Boolis38 all coming in with new follows to the channel this evening. And then got to hang out with a bit with Team Busy Bee, who came in and said hello as well. So if you are new here to the channel, please go ahead and give us a follow. As always, if you have come back to see me like Melvin has several times, it's always my pleasure to fly with you. Flying is fun, but more fun when it's more than one, and you all make that happen for me. So thank you all so very much. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other. That is very important. And let's see who we can go and continue our evening enjoyment with today. Man, close to 700 followers to the channel too. That tickles me pink. Thank you all so much. I'm so happy that I'm able to provide that sort of entertainment for you. But that's just amazing. Almost 700 followers in a couple years. So yeah, let's see here. What do we got going on? Let's go raid. Okay, sure. Why not? Let's go raid Charlie Foxtrot 00. He is right now working on providing flying tips for new flight simmers. So he's messing around in Microsoft Flight Simulator. So let's go say hi to him. If you can't stay for his stream, if you already know much, everything you need to know about flight simulation, feel free to move on. But please just stay for the raid. And again, thank you all for coming in and hanging out. And we will see you next time. So again, let's head over to Charlie Foxtrot 00 channel. And thanks again, everyone.
Just like a